Chag Sameach. Happy Passover. So, we're rounding the final lap of Passover 2025. Have we learned any lessons from the Exodus? I'm not a catastrophizer, as many of you know, and I'm not a kind of person who leads with, we live in a terrible world, the sky is falling, it's broken, it's terrible. And I'm not going to say it now either. I try to lean into the positive. I look around and I see goodness. I see beauty and love. I see sweetness and friendship and dancing. I also read what I read, and I see what I see. The Jewish governor of Pennsylvania's house was burned down the first night of Passover. How thematically relevant that he stands today and says, I'm not leaving, and neither is my house. 2 students in my beloved Florida State University campus have been shot and killed. I prayed that these were not my friends' children, but they were someone's. These students will always live in the vapors of Parkland. The American Jewish community is desperately trying not to tear itself apart. That was just to reassure you that I'm not blinded by optimism. But I ask you on this Chag, this holiday that concludes Passover, do we even know how to recognize triumph? Do we even know how to experience joy and celebration? Did we fulfill our obligation to experience degradation and fly to freedom's dignity? Or are we still in the narrows of Egypt, blind to our successes? We understand that upon crossing the Great Sea out and away from Egypt, that the newly freed band of individuals followed Miriam, dancing. Miriam answered them, "Sing to the Lord, for he has triumphed gloriously. The horse and his rider has he thrown into the sea." And with that, the Exodus story ends. We assume that there was great relief and joy and happiness, maybe even a mixed blessing because many Egyptians and many animals died too. I wonder, because it seems as if Miriam had to remind them that this is a triumphant moment. They survived. They got out. How does one show gratitude when it's mixed with relief, mixed with fear, and to call out in your pain and helplessness and be heard and lifted from crushing misery? We actually already have a prayer for surviving a life-threatening situation. Birkat HaGomel, which reads, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hagomel l'chayavot tovot, shegmalanu kol tov. Blessed are you, God, who rewards the undeserving with goodness, and who has rewarded me with goodness. The congregation gets to respond with Amen. May the one who rewarded you with all goodness continue to reward you with only goodness. Amen. That's a powerful prayer. My husband and I have said that prayer before. With our community, one only says it after having passed through a truly dangerous situation and have come through okay. Its proximity to tragedy makes it terrifyingly bittersweet and fragile. So we learn that celebration can truly be nuanced. It's not the joy and whimsy of a carnival. Survival is deep and smoldering and breathless. Who writes a song for that? We do, of course. We have 6 psalms that stretch the divide between relief, gratitude, unworthiness, and joy, and we call it Hallel, which means praise. These psalms are included in Hallel because of their vivid imagery and the fundamental themes in Judaism: the exodus from Egypt, the giving of the Torah at Sinai, the coming of a messianic age. As you made your way through your Seders last week, you may have sung Hallel. It's the 14th step of the Seder, very close to the end. Rabbi Eliezer claims that it was Moses and the people of Israel who first recited Hallel 3,000 years ago because of their overwhelming sense of gratitude to God for being freed. And in a way, he's right, because Oziv Zimrat Yah, which we sang tonight, the Song of the Sea, they sung it as newly freed slaves wading through mud and hope and freedom. Oziv Zimrat Yah is part of Hallel. The Talmud relates that Hallel was recited by the Levites in the temple and was chanted on Passover Eve as the paschal lambs were prepared. For us today, that's our Seder. And some of us sang this last weekend. The poetry is all but supernatural. Mountains are skipping, the sea runs away, and all of creation activates itself. And the writer demands that you admit, who scared you? Who saved you? Who is the great one that moves you? We know that as Betzeit Yisrael mi Mitzrayim, Beit Yaakov me'am lo'ez. We'll sing it tomorrow morning. In the Torah itself, during those terrible, terrible years, the Israelites did not pray to God in response to their suffering. The Torah tells us they groan under the burden. They cry out when they cannot bear the oppression. At their redemption, their sacred and tenuous freedom, they sing a complicated triumph worthy of Hallel. And we sing Hallel, our complicated triumph, with grace and sensitivity, recognizing that we experience a multitude of feelings simultaneously. For being saved, we are humbly grateful and joyous. We are scared and relieved. A new day dawns, and we've survived. And that is how we move from degradation and fear to dignity and life. That is how we are reassured that our world is a little less broken. On page 301, at the indentation, you see the words, "In distress, I called out. I was answered with expansiveness and freedom." Min HaMetzar. Metzar karatia anani v'merchavia min hametzar karatia Merchavia, darai, 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 darai. From the place of constriction, I called out and I was answered with expansiveness and freedom. Shabbat Shalom.